is up, my peoples?
Missed y'all.
My people.
It's been a whole week.
Has it? I mean, we
Give or
put
take.
out 2 episodes last week.
I'm cranking them out.
Yeah, man. We getting moving. You know what I'm
The
saying?
year's coming. 222 is coming. That's what I'm calling 2022. 222.
Anyway, I am LR Blitzkrieg,
I'm the marksman.
and this is
Aight,
So
so
Boom, where we talk about, nerdy stuff in cinema, movies, TV, and all that stuff.
Everywhere.
That's what we do.
Everywhere.
Worldwide, universal, multiversal.
Yeah, seriously. All through the universes. We got Spider-Man coming next week.
Yeah.
Next week, right? I'm excited for that. The rumors are still flying around. We saw a little shot of Goblin, who seems to be my highlight of the film. I just want to see Goblin. We saw like more of a better image of him, like on his glider.
Yes.
Without his mask.
Mhm.
Like that's what all fans wanted to see for so long.
Looks pretty dope, man.
I'm so excited.
We got the trailer for Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's coming.
Looks pretty dope. I read something where Zendaya and Tom Holland was like, "Yo, we want to be animated." Like,
that'd be savage.
Like, drop us in there.
Sony's like, we don't like y'all like that.
I mean, they do. They making a lot of money off of them, and next week they gonna like them even more.
Yeah,
so,
right. That looks dope. I mean, Miguel, Spider-Man 2099 was one of my favorites. I loved Spider-Man 2099 in particular.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So seeing him kind of have a bigger role, I want to see that happen.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I never really got into Spider-Man 2099, but it should be cool.
All those 2099 series were really dope. I saw the Sonic 2 trailer. There's a Sonic 2. I was a huge Sega Genesis fan. I mean, Sonic was like one of my outside of just video games, he was a big character, period.
Yeah.
And
I was really into the video game when it came out back in the day, but once the movie came out, I felt like it was like, a decade and a half too late.
I agree.
But, the kids love it. My nephew is like, he has a Sonic costume and he'll just like speed through the house like pew pew. Shout out to Cam.
No doubt.
What else? Is there any other news before we get into the nitty gritty?
I mean, that was pretty much it. It's funny how we have a huge Matrix film releasing in a couple weeks and nobody's even talking about it. That in and of itself is a story by itself.
And I can watch it at home, right?
Yeah, watching your cell phone. Spider-Man is really, I think, taking the air out of the Matrix's sales over here.
I saw a little clip. They have a video game to go along with the movie Matrix. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a full video game, but it looked pretty dope, and it's definitely going to carry into the story of the new movie.
We saw a little shot of Nairobi. Jada Pinkett's back in there. She's aged up. So I'm very curious. I want to see this movie. I just can't bring myself to be incredibly excited like I am for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm not. The first Matrix was great. The second 2 were watchable, but they weren't like amazing. So we'll see what happens. I
have faith in this film. I think it's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
I think it's just released at the wrong time. I should have waited till the summer.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Is his name Josh or John? John Bernthal?
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. Yeah. He did an interview recently, and he said they were asking him, all this speculation and things going on with Daredevil and Kingpin. Would you come back to do Punisher? And he said that he has a deep connection with the character. Like when he got the role, he like really went deep into it because he has a wife and kids, and he put himself in the mindset of how would I be as a person if I lost them this way, and his respect for the military and all of that. So he was like, it's not a question of if I would do it, I would definitely do it. I love this character that much, but it's a question of if it can be done right, because if it can't be done right, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
I think his point is that its connection to Disney now.
Right.
If it can't be as gritty as it was on Netflix, then he's not really feeling
That's
it.
pretty much what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, if I have to imagine my family dying, it's gonna have to be worth it.
Right, I'm gonna break some bones. I'm gonna kill
direction.
some people. Some people gonna get shot in the head. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah. I think they're gonna give it to him. Might not be at the current moment, but I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're gonna do it.
I think no matter what, they'll they'll do it in a way that will make him happy and will make the studio happy.
Oh yeah. But right now, you know who we're worried about right now? What character are we worried about right now? My man Hawkeye, yo.
Hawkeye.
Let's get this done, yo. Still got my mask on.
Episode 4.
Episode 4 is called Partners. Am I right?
Coming off of episode 3, which was like, you know, perfect Marvel Universe television.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, you know, I had high hopes for this episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
We talk about it now. How'd you feel? You don't say how feelings later?
I thought it was dope. Was it as dope as episode 3? Not at all.
Yeah.
I think knowing that Yelena was coming kind of took some of the excitement out of it, because you knew she was going to be there.
You knew that was her?
Yeah, I knew that was her. I'm watching it with my wife, and she's like, "Who's that? Who's that?" And I'm like, you know, because I don't want to spoil it for her. Because, you know, when you know too much, you don't want to give it away, because it can ruin the show for people. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Is it two Mayas? Like, they're twins?" I was like, "No. Just is it
two Mayas? Echo.
Hey, that's pretty good. That would be dope." But nah, you know. But nah, I thought the episode was dope. It's just, you always compare it to the last thing you saw. Yeah. And the last thing you saw was so amazing that this episode is kind of like, we hit a peak, and then we kind of like dip down a little bit, and you hope for the last 2 episodes we're just gonna like skyrocket and go like crazy, you know?
Bro, the same thing happened with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
The same thing happened. They had a fire episode 3, and then the expectation was the 4th one was gonna be. And it was like, and it did a little dip. It was still a good episode.
You know, that might be a formula.
I'm telling you, they're very formulaic.
Yeah.
They're very, very formulaic. And this is, you know, we're getting into the series where this is the 3rd or 4th now. So we know how they're thinking. And it is a little fascinating to see how the climbs and the, you know.
You know, I listened to I listened to an interview of someone talking about being brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't remember who it was. It was a director. And what happens when you do that, when you come in, and the team that has to build around you, and what they, you know, they have these books or whatever, and they know what you can do, what you can't do, what the formula is supposed to be. So I could definitely see it where they're like, okay, the way that we do things here for our shows is, you know, halfway in, like we go crazy, and then you have to like bring it down a little bit so that, you know, the ending, it just blows people's minds. Because if you keep going up, some people might be disappointed, but if you bring it down a little bit and then, like, you know, shoot this way, then people are like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. So
there are definitely those formulas, and when you see in the past, we've seen issues with directors who start and then don't finish. Yeah, it's often these creative differences. But like, listen, whatever they had in mind, it just didn't blend with whatever Marvel had. Yeah, you know, whatever parameters or structure they had, it just didn't work.
Before we get into Hawkeye, because we're already here, but I wanted to remember that we saw a Stuntman's T-shirt with the Ant-Man like helmet, and it was like busted on one side, but in it you could see a reflection, and that reflection was of a purple and blue Kang.
Comic book accurate
Kang, which I thought was really dope. I didn't know if we were going to go there.
Right.
But I'm definitely glad they did. Only problem is we're not going to see Ant-Man until 2023, so
yeah, it's a whole year. But when they released that still image of Jonathan Majors as Kang, that's going to be a moment.
Yeah. And you know, he's the big bad for the next phase, I think. You know, I think there are multi-tiers in Marvel now. It's not just like one bad. Phase. Like in the last phase, it was Thanos the whole time. We knew that Thanos was the big bad. Right. I think now they're kind of splintering off, where we're going to have maybe a cosmic big bad or a multiversal big bad, and then like a street level big bad. I don't know.
I could definitely see the street level thing happening, because they're building street level heroes. Yeah. And not everybody's going to be fighting Kang. So no, that makes sense. We have secret wars happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Kang's not even the immediate threat.
Right. I mean, obviously, he's a threat to everything.
Yeah.
But some people within the Marvel Universe are not even going to know that's happening.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially if we bring these Netflix characters over like we are.
Yeah.
Daredevil's coming in. Like, Disney Plus opens it up. So, yes, Kang does not have to be the only center of attention.
Yeah.
Which is better because then he'll be able to really chew his scenery just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So no doubt, I'm happy to see that.
Sorry about that. Back to Hawkeye.
Back to Hawkeye, man. This is the 4th episode. Like I said, it's entitled Partners, Am I Right? And this episode was I didn't appreciate it thoroughly the first time. Mm-hmm. There were things that I only caught the second time, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Because my opinion completely changed, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they did some very interesting things with Natasha's death in particular that I didn't catch the first time.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa, you guys are really, really fleshing this Natasha death thing out.
I only got to watch it once, but,
okay.
Put me on, bro.
That's what I'm here for. It's Aiight, so boom. So from the last episode, they set up a fight, basically, between the swordsman, Jacques, and finding Clint in the crib. Of course, we were let down immediately. Immediate letdown. When we found out that Moms was in the crib, they didn't fight. They just kind of squared up and sat at the table.
Yeah.
So I was immediately like, okay, cool, all right, no problem. But they have this nice little conversation. There's even like a sword in the middle of the table, which I thought was pretty cool.
Dead in the middle of the table.
I thought that was really cool.
I said that to I was like, yo, there's a sword right in the middle of the table. Not because swordsman's there, but because this is Mom's crib. Right. And I mean, who killed Armand? And my wife is like, yo, it was the mother. It's like, yeah, I think it was.
We don't know. Well, we'll see. Because there's so many layers to Mom. Because Mom, we learn a little bit more about Mom in this episode.
For sure.
But they have a nice little back and forth, Jacques like, thank you for saving the universe, But
I like Jack.
He's as cool as he could be.
I like Jack.
He's as cool as he can be. We'll see how villainous he is as we get deeper into the story. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely playing the cool role right now.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth. Of course, Clint is like, this is not my partner. I'm not trying to be here, but Mom is, of course, being as concerned as a mom could be. As if she could be a villain all she wants. She's a mom right now.
That's true.
So you can't really be mad at her for her line of questioning.
That is true.
But it kind of comes out that, all right, yes, she's working with me. There's a case I'm on. Avengers level threat. Not really, but I kind of need her, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Mom doesn't like it,
and
so...
Kate is loving all this. She's like, yo, you're my partner over here, CB1. But he's like, nobody calls me that.
Mom Dukes knows that, she was obsessed with him since the Battle of New York.
Yes.
So, how surprised is she? These are things we're kind of looking at her to see what a role she has, how familiar she is.
Right.
But anyway... can I see you out? Can you leave my crib now?
Right.
You don't belong here. He exits, and on his...
Well, him and Kate were going to leave together, and Mom was like, nah, you stay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So he's like, okay, I guess I got to go.
Definitely. And while he leaves, he takes the sword.
Yeah, he peeps it sitting like over on the side, and while they were having a conversation at the table... And on his way out, with his ninja-like skills, I don't even know
his
how
off-camera skills.
I don't know how he did that because I see him go nowhere near over there. But he got that sword.
He ended up getting the sword. They have the mom, Mom Bishop and Clint have a little back and forth. Do you have kids? I can't lose my daughter. Nothing villainous about that. Nothing wrong about that.
Yo, the way he talked to her was so, she was so passive-aggressively threatening, but the way that he talked back to her was so cool. Yeah. Like, it's like, yo, how can you hate that? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, yo, look, fam,
yeah,
I'm not dropping the case, but,
right.
your daughter's going to be safe. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Right. As long as she doesn't kill herself.
Yeah.
Messing with me and my business. Yeah, so like you said, it was very even keeled. He definitely handled it right. Let her. He went out in the elevator, and the first thing he did was text his wife.
Mockingbird. His wife is Mockingbird. She was in S.H.I.E.L.D. with him. His wife is Mockingbird. I don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. Nobody can tell me nothing. Nothing. That's Mockingbird.
No doubt. She definitely whipped out some spy skills. Of course, I'm thinking of Age of Ultron and just how cool she was, how firm she was.
They had kids. She retired early.
It makes perfect sense.
Mockingbird.
She whipped out the German,
Damn.
She's clearly has some experience in the field,
and
perhaps.
That's why she's so cool with the fact that he's doing what he's doing.
At all.
And whenever he calls him like, yo, I can't come home, she's like, motherfucker, you better get your... Nah. She's like, I understand. I know what this is. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Relationship goals. If she don't know your life, if she can't roll with you like that, it might not work. Especially if you have a life like he does. So that was dope. I definitely like seeing Laura's character fleshed out a little bit more. Maybe she has that backstory. Maybe that Rolex is hers. We're gonna get to the Rolex later. But she traces it. Mm-hmm. Well, basically, aside from tracing that, she traces the Sloan Company.
Yes.
And that's really what that was really all about. Run the Sloan Company.
Oh, sorry. Time out.
Yeah.
Some people don't read the comics. They just know the MCU. In the comic books, Hawkeye is in a relationship for a long time with a character named Mockingbird. She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe, right? I didn't really watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wasn't into it. But...
Kevin Feige doesn't care about Agents of
that don't count. Don't think about that as canon in any way, shape, or form. So he dated her for a really long time. They had an off again, on again, relationship. But she's an Avenger, or she was an Avenger, and she was also, like a spy, kind of like Clint. So there you go.
Yeah. So bringing her, having her be a character would be really, really cool. So save that for later, because that probably won't come out till the last episode.
Yeah.
So we have a switch where Kate's mom makes a call, like, this Avenger just left your crib. Yo, we got a little issue. Call me back. It's urgent. Does that have something to do with the fact that Clint was just in the crib? Mm-hmm. I would say probably. Who is she calling? Right. We can conject. It could be Kingpin she could be calling.
Yeah.
Due to what happens later, and if you're watching this, you saw the whole episode, it could be Contessa she's calling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Didn't think of that.
Just because of what we had, the moving pieces that we have going here. So maybe we'll get to see that soon.
I'm thinking now, where in time the end scene of Black Widow takes place.
Yeah.
Right? So in you saying that, I didn't even think of that. If she's calling Contessa, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe she calls Contessa, and then that's when Contessa pulls up on Yelena and is like, yo, here's your next target.
It could be.
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, Yelena could, just because of how fast it is, because, that fight happened like little days after. It could have been then. It could have been, Yelena could have been already recruited, and the process was already started, and then,
Yeah.
But, either way, if Contessa's involved in this particular situation, then yes, all that is all tied in together. Mm-hmm. Because Contessa had the picture. This is your man right here. So that was. And
it seemed like, what's her name? Eleanor Bishop.
Yeah, that's her name.
Eleanor Bishop. It seemed like she knows everything about Clint. She knows everything. Yeah. And when she says, do you have kids? I'm going to assume you do. Right. She knows he has kids.
She has a security company. She knows.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She didn't say nothing about Black Widow. She said, isn't that what happened to Natasha Romanoff? Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? She knows she knows everything about this man.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see why. We're gonna see a lot how these pieces are tied in pretty soon. But of course they have a conversation with Laura. She's now on the phone now, dishing out all the information, switching back from German, speaking about the Rolex. So they're really trying to find out where this Rolex is, because of course, we realize that Laura is able to track this particular Rolex.
Well, she says, wasn't it destroyed at the compound? And he's like, apparently not. And I was right. It is a vintage Rolex, but it has some type of tracking device in it that can ping.
Right.
So
with some data, possibly data of, where this Rolex has even been. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you get this Rolex, you're able to kind of trace, you know, and backtrack and find out that it's Laura, aka Family Mom, aka we're gonna kill your family now.
I see.
You know,
Clint says that it's connected to someone who, you know, is undercover or used to work with or whatever, and if, you know, gets into the wrong hands, it'll blow their cover.
Yeah.
Or their, you know. So yeah, it could be that
would make sense. Clint is the most concerned about this.
Yeah.
You know, or else why would you care?
I mean, it could be somebody else.
It could be.
That is super undercover as, you know, like a bad guy for years or whatever, but if that information gets out, then, you know, they'll be killed or whatever. But that's how I was thinking when I watched it until you said what you said. What you say makes way more sense. But, you know, we'll see.
All right, so boom. So we kind of flash back to Jack and Kate and Eleanor, where pretty much, Jack is showing Kate that he's probably not a bad guy. Probably they're softening up his image a little bit. You know, he's bringing a little side out of his mom.
Yeah, you know, I think in the first 3 episodes, we were like, nothing about their relationship seems genuine.
Organic, yeah.
Or that they really care about each other. But this little scene, I think that they were trying to show that they do have some type of connection, you know, as fiance and whatever.
Right.
And that Kate is kind of warming up to the idea of them being together because, you know, she keeps smiling because she sees her mom happy.
Right.
So, you know.
I mean, in the first couple episodes, they focus on money a lot, you know. He was even talking about, you know, I'm going to get this money, you know. So they're doing a lot of to play with how we feel about Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
However they decide to do in the end, we don't know.
It's an emotional
roller coaster. But they're playing with it. They're definitely playing with it.
I can't take these twists and turns.
So that happens. We flash now to Clint in this really interesting scene where he's going into, of course, he's staying at this house, this little safe house.
He's at the safe house, which is Kate Bishop's aunt's apartment. She's out of town, she says, or, you know, she goes away for the winter. She's on holiday. But we know that the aunt's name is the same name of the woman who gifted the West Coast Avengers their compound or whatever.
So yeah, slight callback to the comics, whether it means more in the future or not.
We'll see.
Which is definitely helping the Avengers out right now.
Facts.
He grabs these frozen fruit cocktails from the freezer and patches them on his body. This very human scene, you know. Yeah. It's very human. We all feel beat up every once in a while, and he's just being efficient, taping it to his body. But Kate comes through with some holiday cheer, a Christmas tree, some decorations, some movies, pizza dog. And, you know, Clint appreciates it. He's like, you know, thank you. Yeah. You know, I'm a loner. I'm doing my thing. But, you know, let me have this little moment where I can chill. And, of course, they're kind of going back, having cool conversations. Sleuthing. They have a conversation about boomerang arrows. That's a callback to the comics.
Comic callback, yeah.
In the comics, it was actually reversed. Yeah. Whereas Clint used boomerang arrows, and Kate really had the jokes.
She's like, yo, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And in the comics, she actually uses one to save him, if I'm not mistaken. At least save herself. But yeah, anyway, so that may come into play. I don't know. That may just be a conversation, but we may see a boomerang arrow before that ends out. So they have a little trick arrow conversation, and that leads to Clint saying, hey, her saying, hey, what else can you do? They have this little Robin Hood split arrow conversation where the first one is wood, which I didn't think about. So the second one, you could split it. Like when you're doing this 2 arrows, first one you shoot is wood, so the second arrow splits the first one. That's a little, if you're trying to put marksman, a little Robin Hood trick. But the second one was, he said, I can knock somebody unconscious with a quarter or a nickel.
Coin, right.
Or coin. I think that's going to come into play later. I think Kate's going to use it to take out a villain in the end.
Yeah, she's going to use it for something, whether it's to like get them out of a, you know, some type of there's a button over there to open the gates to get out of this, cell they got them in or whatever. Or if like she actually knocks somebody out with it, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen. Sure.
He shows how to use it, and that reminded me of Daredevil season 2.
Reminds you of Bullseye in particular.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In season 2, it was Bullseye's character. They had that fight in the office where he was getting staples and he was turning anything into a weapon. It was one of the dopest fight scenes I've seen in a long time between two comic book characters.
Yeah, even going into that in all the speculation that Daredevil's coming into the MCU and Kingpin's coming into the MCU, it would be great if they also brought that Bullseye with them, because
he was good.
Not only was he dope, at the very end of Daredevil, I think in the after credit scene, you see him getting fitted with I believe it was an adamantium skeleton or spine. Yeah, he's on. They
didn't say, couldn't have said adamantium.
They didn't say it, but he was getting metal implanted into his spine because I think he got his back broken. Yeah, and so that would make him a super dope character.
Come on, Kevin. I mean, Kevin Feige has all the power, right? So he's like, there are things he could take, there are things he doesn't have to take.
Right.
Yeah. I think,
Fist.
right. We all know he's not going to take Iron Fist. If he has Charlie Cox. I totally agree with you. They would not have to do any work. You could have Bullseye as a villain that's already there.
Yeah.
That would be dope. I wouldn't be mad. Either way, they'll probably recast him though.
I thought that guy was good.
I thought he was good too.
He was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He did a good crazy.
Yeah.
He reminds me kind of Chris Evans, right? I mean, just the way he looks, his face, but he played that part well. Anyway, I digress.
No doubt, but that was they're out of trick arrows, and that's a huge part of the plot here. They're totally out of them, so they now have to devise a plan to either get more or retrieve the old ones.
Yeah. Kate was like, we got to get more trick arrows, and he's like, there aren't any more. So then they have to, go get the ones that they already used against the Tracksuit Mafia or wherever else. In that last battle from episode 3.
Yeah.
And they're in a police warehouse,
evidence locker.
Yep.
Even within this conversation, another part has to do with Natasha again. The first mention was actually Eleanor, who mentioned, of course, Natasha died, right? So we have her mentioned there. That's mentioned here. Remember last week we were talking about Ronan, and I was saying that Kate's going to figure out that Clint was Ronan.
That was a pretty dope scene when they were in the house talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she figured it out. Clint mentions the shot he didn't take.
Yeah, they're playing this. She's playing a 20 questions game basically with him, just asking him a bunch of questions like, the thing with the coin, like what else can you do, and blah blah blah, and what's the best shot you ever took, and he's like, the one I didn't take.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to get into it, and she keeps pushing him, and then realizes that he's having this conversation about he was supposed to take Natasha out.
Yeah.
He was sent to kill her. And you know what? In fact, let's really get into the scene because I thought it was really dope.
So boom.
So he says that he was sent to take her out, and there was just something about her. He could tell that she wanted to get out of the life that she was in.
Like, she's pretty.
A Russian assassin. Right.
He was like, yo, she's bad.
So obviously something happens, and he's able to pull her out of that life, and so that the best shot he took was the one that he never took because he didn't wind up killing Natasha. But after that, they get into this conversation about she figures out that he is
he was
Ronan, and she's trying to justify it all, and he's justifying it in a way like, everybody handles things different. I did what I continued to what I was trained to do. And she's like, help people. And he's like, nah, I'm a weapon. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
clarifying.
He's like I'm not here to help people. I'm here to be a knife, be the arrow, be the gun to facilitate things happening.
So I'm here to hurt people. He said it. So I hurt people.
And I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
I thought that was really dope.
No, he's a weapon, you know. He said people have pointed me at different things in the past.
Yeah.
You know, but that's really what he is. So he's really, really being honest with Kate. You know, you cannot say he's misleading her. You can't say he's trying to paint her an image. Nah. He's keeping it 100.
And throughout this series, he's always kept it a buck. Like he's never whatever he had on his mind, he said it.
Gotta respect
I think that was dope.
Yeah.
I like him as a character, man. I hope he doesn't go away.
I agree. He's always been that real. I don't think he was always that. I think he was that real from jump. You know, I think that's why he has so much respect. But his contract is dwindling down, so I think his time is coming. Maybe he'll die.
Why are you smiling about that?
I'm kidding. Just the poetry character.
For sure.
But nah, they stay over and pretty much realize the next morning is the mission. The mission is to get these arrows. That's really what it's about.
Yes.
And we have to go to these LARPers to get the arrows. So he sends Kate to the LARPers.
Which I thought was dope because he gave her a task that was super important, right? We got to get these arrows. And he said he fully felt she was confident of making it happen. But also probably because he didn't want to deal with the LARPers ever again. Probably.
It's like, these nerds. I don't want to see this Grills dude. But she, you know, and even as the first time I saw this part, in my mind, I'm like, y'all taking time away from the action. I'm like, I don't want to see these LARPers again. I was a little annoyed.
Yeah.
But it is an important part of the mission. Mm-hmm. So these are cops and firemen, so they do have access to the evidence locker. Kate approaches them. You know, they agree. The young lady, I didn't get her name. Wendy. I forgot the black lady who the cop. Mm-hmm. Her name is a character in the comics. It's a villain actually.
You know,
but I forgot the name.
She's Bombshell. She's Bombshell.
That's who it is.
Okay.
It's like Wendy somebody.
Only reason I believe that to be true. I think if you looked it up or whatever, but only because she says my wife gave me this bag. It has my name on it. It says Bombshell.
Bombshell. Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So in the comics, the only Bombshell I know, because I don't know Bombshell from proper 616. I know Bombshell from the Ultimate Universe. In the Ultimate Universe, she was a bad guy. Her mom was a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And she winds up being like, you know what, I don't want to be a bad guy no more. So she winds up joining Miles Morales, him, and I forget who else. Might have been like Spider-Gwen and Nova. Crazy. I can't remember, but you know, she becomes a kind of good guy after that. But she can shoot like, you know, bomb projectiles or some shit.
Now, not to say that this character is going to mean anything in the MCU. I don't necessarily believe they are. I think it's more of a callback.
Yeah. It's just a little cute Easter egg.
You know,
I think
this cop is gonna be this next. I don't think it's that serious. Mm-hmm. I was looking for the name. Maybe it'll come up later. But yeah, shouts to her for that. So that LARPing scene was important to connect Kate Bishop to the LARPers. And of course, she's doing the most. She's with them at their crib, talking about, hey, I could, you know.
It was cool because when she first meets them, she's like, yo, these dweebs, these freaking nerds, right?
Yeah.
But then by the time Clint gets there, she's like having fun. She's like, so she got into it. And I think that was you know, there are the diehard people that are really into this, and they'll go to Comic-Con, they'll get all dressed up and blah, you know, all of that stuff.
Cosplay.
And some people's like, yo, fam, I just watched the movie. I'm not into all that, you know, that nerd shit or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you got to know them, like, it's like, hey, man, they're cool. Like, they like something different. Just, you know, roll with it.
That's a good comparison, because the LARPers are definitely nerdy. But I've cosplayed before, you know, so
I remember I went to Comic-Con one time. I saw you as
I was Bishop.
Bishop, right?
Yeah, man. So that's a form of LARPing. You know what I mean? So I totally get that, and I'm somebody who didn't want to do it and then got close to it and was like, yo, this is fun. So I get it. They talk a lot about making costumes. Kate agrees to make them costumes. She has money, so at the end of the day, she could do whatever she wants. And you know, even Grills comes through. Was like, yeah, let's have this exchange. We'll get you your arrows.
Right.
We'll give you the access you need. In exchange, make us some costumes.
Right.
You know,
or get us the materials to make the costumes.
Or get us the materials.
Right.
So the young lady who makes costumes, is she gonna make Hawkeye's costume in the end?
She's gonna make both Hawkeye's costumes.
You know, like, is this whole thing? That's when I was like, okay, LARPers, this is why the LARPing thing is here.
Yeah.
So we can get new costumes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which it's okay, cool, whatever. But,
okay.
The only problem I have with that is they're making LARPing costumes. Like, how functional will they be? How protective will they be?
How nice are you? This is not Edna from The Incredibles.
Right.
Like,
right. And we see what they look like in all of the, you know, promotional stuff. Like, even on our last episode, we had in the background, you see the picture of, you know, Hawkeye wearing his, and we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Because remember that even that Hawkeye picture is a great example. They didn't add it, but we saw what they were going with.
Yeah.
So we saw that they were giving them credit for making reasonable costumes.
Yeah.
If they tried. So we'll see how that happens. I don't know.
That might be a little thorn in my side by the end of this whole thing.
That might be the Ralph Boner of Hawkeye.
It's like, yo, I love this series, but this one thing.
If he comes out in like an Avengers level costume, a Shang-Chi looking dragon scale costume.
I mean, we already know what it looks like. We already know it. It's just how functional is it? Is that real? You know, did you get that padding from Canal Street, or is that like, you know, some super duper Kevlar?
Right. You can't go from S.H.I.E.L.D. making your gear to the chick for the LARPer.
Right. If I get shot right here in this padded V that I have, right, is, you know what? There are cops on the team, so maybe.
Right. They throw like a Teflon vest on top of it.
Yeah. Put some bulletproofing in there.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But no, that happened. You know, that was something that kind of gave us a little heads up for the future. But okay, so. Clint leaves them. So we got the bag. We established that bombshell. My girl's like, listen, I'm gonna need my bag back, which was a funny scene. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that she was a black woman, because I think a black woman would just convey that just that sass and that attitude that's just the best.
Yeah.
So like, nah, you ain't got your own bag. Like that was a funny moment. You ain't got your own bag. Aren't you a superhero? So that was cool. So she leaves. I mean, Clint leaves and actually has a talk with my man Kazi.
Yes.
A little catch me outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Creeps in the back of his car. Of course, if you're out there, if you ever need to intimidate somebody and you break into their car, you have to remove the weapons first.
Yeah.
You don't just roll up in and sit in the back seat, wait for them. No.
It's a bad idea.
Usually under the dashboard, you know, the hood, there's some sort of weapon, knife or gun.
Under the seat.
Under the seat is a good one. So do that, just so you know. Right. So he does all that. Kazi is more of the rational. He sees that Kazi's more of the. I know in the comics he's more of like a serial killer.
I mean, if Kazi had a gun or a knife on him, nothing Clint could do about that, huh?
What you mean? Oh, like on his person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey. You're right. Kazi needs to walk out. He left all his stuff in the car.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Kazi would be like, so why are you in my car now?
How
Clint's like,
convenient.
Damn. Honestly, if he would have, anyway, we know Clint would have been ready for that.
Yeah.
But pretty much trying to appeal to his intellect, trying to appeal to Kazi. Mm-hmm. Listen, you know, Ronan's not real. Chasing a ghost, you're the only one that can kind of do it. Do your thing before it's too late. Final warning, pretty much.
He's like, yo, Maya's going to get herself hurt. Right. So if she doesn't drop this, it's going to be a problem. It seems like you're the only person you have, you know, a relationship where you could talk to her about this.
Yeah.
If you can do so, or otherwise, you know, Maya she might catch it.
She might. He's been working under the name William Lopez. Considering she's Maya Lopez, are they family in this episode? Are they cousins in this episode, in this series?
Right.
So that was interesting. Anyway, he says final warning. So that's a threat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ain't going to tell you again.
Right.
And then what I thought was funny, he left the car and then in the frame throws his gun. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It was a cute little thing, just like in the same frame. So anyway, he catches up to Kate. That's how they have the whole interaction. So pretty much while they're at the with the LARPers, Laura texts Clint the address.
You mean Mockingbird?
We'll see. Spy versus spy. She texts him the address to where the Rolex is beeping.
Right.
How else would Laura be able to do that if it wasn't her Rolex? I mean, it's safe to assume that
she's got text because she's S.H.I.E.L.D. She's
true.
Mockingbird. She can, it doesn't have to be hers. It just has to be because it was at Avengers Compound, right? So obviously, both her and Clint know something about this Rolex or who it belonged to, or what it is, and so he could give her the information of how to find the pinging. I don't know.
Right? No, it's true. It's not necessarily hers. Yep. You're definitely right about that. But they go to the address, and they're across the street. And Kate says, like a little rookie conversation, like, why don't we go higher? You think if you're trying to swoop down and look down at an image, you want to get to the highest peak possible.
Right.
Especially if you're Hawkeye. But he's like, nah, you don't prioritize a quick entrance. You prioritize a quick exit.
Yeah.
And that's game. That's wisdom. That's an OG talking to a young G.
Yeah.
Coming in is easy. Anybody can walk in.
Yeah.
It's getting the F out when you need to because things go wrong all the time.
Right.
Things go left more than they go right. So that was a little cool.
Jumping off a low building is way better than jumping off a skyscraper.
No super serum here. So then Kate leaves and does something that was another head, face palm.
The brass overconfidence.
She leaves and she walks across the street.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all really doing this? And then, appeals to an older gentleman to get into the apartment building, takes his groceries, and takes the elevator.
In that, it's interesting that she is both young and rich, right? Because
entitlement.
Entitlement, and in that feeling in your head that I can do what, and white, right? And that feeling in her head that I can just do whatever I want, she idolizes Clint, but at the same time, she does things that are against, his better judgment.
Yeah.
And you would think if she was, some poor kid who idolized Clint and got to hang out with him, would she be as defiant or, as brass or cocky to just be like, nah, I got this part. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. She's going to get hers.
So it works. It definitely works within her character that I understand that she thinks that, there are things that I can do too. Watch this,
right.
And he's like, yeah, nah, you really can't do that.
Right. I mean, the MCU, well, listen, my thing is she's not strong enough or skilled enough to be this cocky. Aside from the Hawkeye series, she'll get eaten up by, with Hawkeye not being there. So I hope she learns.
Yeah.
Or gets exponentially better.
Yeah. I think by the end of this, she's going to wind up getting much more training, whether it's from Jack or it's from Clint. She's going to get way more training.
I hope so.
Yeah. So that the next time we see her possibly in a movie, she's a badass.
She's noticeably better.
Yeah. Like I can lead this team.
I'm concerned. Yeah. I am concerned. I'm concerned for the future Avengers.
Yeah.
Because she's not on that level yet.
Or at least the young Avengers.
The young Avengers, right.
I expect them to be all over the place and make tons of mistakes, which would be great. I'd enjoy them making mistakes, but then fixing them,
Yeah, with maybe a couple of the originals still there. Chris Hemsworth seems to have a long-ass contract.
For sure.
But yeah, so we'll see how that happens. But I am concerned about the power levels. And I did get annoyed seeing her walk across the street. People, this is the day and age they got camera. I'm just like, you're blowing cover, doing the exact opposite of what Hawkeye would do. I just had a
wild thought. What if in Secret Invasion they bring in Hulkling because he's half Skrull and half Kree, right? Makes total sense, yo.
They were talking about bringing Hulkling as a LGBTQ character.
Right. All right, sorry.
She goes upstairs, breaks into this apartment. Now we don't know whose place this is yet. And the first time I watched it, I didn't know until it was revealed. Mm-hmm. But the second time I watched it, the second she opens the door, there's Native American art there in the wall. I didn't notice it the first time.
Okay.
But they're screaming it at you the second she walks in.
Yeah.
She looks around, and all of a sudden, these strobe lights start going off, which confused me.
Yeah.
I didn't get it the first time. She hits it with the little, the putty arrows.
Yeah, which seemed like a complete waste of a putty arrow, but yeah.
It does. She sees a pad with Clint's family's information on it.
Yeah, all his family's information.
So that's not good. Hits up Clint. Yo, Clint, she got your info. He's like, yo, and then he gets ambushed. So he lets her know, listen, I got Maya over here with me. Mm-hmm. Can't really talk. So as she's kind of digesting it, she gets ambushed. Mm-hmm. So they're going back like, why didn't you tell me Maya's out there? He's like, because I'm fighting it. What are you talking about? He thinks it's Maya, aka Echo, of course, because Kate sees Maya without her a mask on.
That's Maya.
She knows it's Maya. Yeah. And that goes back to Clint. Then who am I fighting? Pretty much. And we see Yelena Belova in her kind of comic book influenced face mask.
Black Widow costume with the night vision goggles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Full Black Widow having a nice fight. So this fight is a very interesting fight. So Clint to get some backup and to save Kate, shoots a zip line to the apartment.
Yep. Kate
manages to escape, gets stuck halfway, which is funny, ends up kind of going across. Maya catches up. So they have this little fight.
During the fight on the other end with Clint and Yelena, Yelena hits the cord,
right,
and that's what allows Kate to continue to descend down. I thought that was dope.
Right, and pay very close attention to Yelena does some slick things in this fight.
There's a lot of slick things, and then she does a lot of things that was like, I was like, yo, she did the superhero pose twice. She did it twice. Yeah. And if you think about, back in Black Widow, she was making fun of her sister, of Natasha. She's like, what's this thing that you guys do where you do this, the superhero thing? It's weird. Like, why do you do that? But she did it twice.
She did. I think she's learning that you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I don't know if you know, but that came out as a joke on set. Yelena had the joke to Scarlett Johansson on set, and they put it in the movie.
That's dope. She's really funny, yo.
She is.
I think her as a character. I mean, if she came up with that as just riffing, that makes her even funnier. Because as a character, she makes me laugh. Yo.
Agreed. So they have this little standoff. Where we see the Black Widow sting, and Clint sees it too.
She's got
Clint sees it too, and it's red, right? Which is noticeably different to how Natasha did it.
Yeah.
And at one point, Yelena throws Kate off the roof.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Clint, runs, and of course he's super anxiety. He lost his best friend the same way.
Yeah.
Right? Goes to see if she fell off, but she didn't fall off. Her zip line was attached.
Yeah.
Do you understand the importance of that?
I mean, no.
Okay. Yelena did to Kate exactly what Natasha did to Clint in Endgame.
Natasha did that to Clint in Endgame.
And even when Clint was looking over the roof to see what had happened, to see if Kate was dead, basically, the music was the change to the Endgame music when Natasha died.
Wow. So she's got...
Yelena purposely,
yeah,
to get rid of Kate, and this leads to my theory of the whole of where she comes from, threw her over not to kill her,
right,
but to remove her from the fight. So at the end, when Kate Bishop is bucking and she hits Echo and she's going to hit Yelena, and Yelena goes, she says no. She gives her like a And Kate stops and does not shoot her, and then Yelena jumps off.
Wait, say that again.
Nearing the end of this battle, Kate hits Echo
right in the shoulder.
Yep. And then recoils and goes to hit Yelena and does not. Yelena looks at her. Yelena goes, and then attaches her little cord and then jumps off the roof. Kate looked at her, saw that no, and was like, didn't shoot her obviously, and then let her go. That to me, those beats to me connects Yelena to Kate. That's why I believe Eleanor hired Yelena. Eleanor, Contessa, Yelena, they're all connected. I think Yelena knows Kate Bishop is Eleanor's daughter and should not be killed, is my point.
Well, yeah, Clint says somebody hired a Black Widow, right? So, yes, you're right.
I mean, the Black Widow was definitely meant to kill Clint, but Yelena knows Kate Bishop is innocent.
She was meant to do something. I don't know if she was sent to kill him. I'm not going to, there's so many twists and turns. I can't assume that she was sent there to kill him. She was sent there to stop him in some way, right? Maybe from getting too close, maybe from finding the watch.
You don't know if Yelena was sent to kill Clint. We know this from Black Widow that she was sent to kill Clint.
No, we don't know that. She said, here is your next target, right? But she didn't say, yo, go kill this dude.
Where do you think we do the targets?
Listen, you are reading something into something that may not necessarily be there, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
It's possible that he's a target for another reason, right?
Okay.
Maybe you have to stop him. Maybe
the mission is it may not be murder.
Maybe the mission is not to end this man's life. The mission is your target is to take him out of this scenario because Eleanor Bishop wants him out of the picture, or because, he has too much information, we need him to go away. But not necessarily to kill him, because I don't think that Contessa's evil.
Well, Contessa definitely told Yelena, this is the man responsible for your sister's death.
Yes.
Definitely did that.
For sure. She did that.
That, to me, says, you see this man responsible for your sister's death? This is your next target. That's death to me.
That doesn't say death to
That's
me.
not like give him a pizza.
That doesn't say death to me. And I also don't think that in seeing the relationship that they built throughout the movie and Yelena looking up to Natasha as much as she did, I don't think that she would... at first, I don't think that she goes around willy-nilly just killing people. I think that she does things that have to be done, like she's a weapon, like Clint was, but not necessarily out here just murdering people. And also in knowing that Clint was her best friend, I think that, yes, she knows that she needs to get him out of the picture, but I don't think that, I just don't think that her main intention, listen, she's going to become a good guy, right?
Yeah.
If she's not already a good guy already, if you could already look at her as a superhero. So this superhero is not going to just go out and just, be willy-nilly killing people.
Man, seeing the Endgame parallels were really interesting.
Yeah.
And if you check out the episode again, just watch that last scene with and just how they layered Natasha. The shot she didn't take was Kate not taking that shot. You feel me? Like there are so many parallels. So that's why I believe Yelena has this issue.
They're going to become good friends, aren't they?
It may happen. It may happen, or it may just be a situation where Yelena is okay. Clint is not a villain.
It's going to be a callback. Watch. The best shot that Kate never took is the one that is to not kill. It's the same. It's a Hawkeye and a Black Widow. It's the same parallel.
Yeah.
So
done very well. And like I said, the first time I saw the episode, it's hard to catch.
Y'all didn't catch that.
That's a hard thing to just catch on I did not catch on the first attempt. But it was like, wait, the music? And I had to do some digging to get the music cue. I didn't get that myself. Somebody on YouTube got that. But that's just brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, man.
That to me sets this episode, because I would, like I said, if I saw it one time, I would have given it 1 rating. But upon seeing it a second time, y'all went so much deeper than even the third episode.
I didn't even watch it twice, and I like it better.
You appreciate it.
Yeah.
So even with the things that we don't even agree on, there's so many factors that were brought up just from this fight. Which was really dope. So I definitely appreciate that.
Here's my question. Does Echo deserve her own show? I'm just asking. She was out there for a quick hot minute. Kate was like, bang. She's like, oh, okay. I guess I gotta go.
She pulled it out, though, real gangster like.
Yeah, she did pull it out.
You're right. I mean, we'll see. There's so many characters in here. She needs to shine a little bit more to give us that, you know.
Yeah. I don't have the feeling like, you know, that she should have her own show yet. She didn't do anything that's like so badass. I'm like, yo, she gotta have a show.
Yeah. Well, Yelena came over and just kind of reminded cats what that is. But after this fight, Yelena bounces. You know, Kate's like, yo, you're my partner. You gotta give me this intel so I know what's up. You know, Clint, of course, like you said, is like, listen, it's just got really real. I don't know if you know this,
right.
but that's a Black Widow assassin.
Yeah.
So whoever's on our tail is serious.
Yes.
They have the resources and they have the villainous intentions to hire one of these assassins. So Clint also knows that Natasha was a Black Widow, so more than likely he's probably pieced together that whoever's after me doesn't understand the whole situation, and he knows Ronan is right tied in the middle.
Yo,
so
I'm convinced that call that Eleanor made was to Contessa, and she hired Yelena to go make it too dangerous for Clint to allow for Kate to still be around, because she wants to separate Clint from her daughter. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. Like once like you said, once that Black Widow's involved, he realized like you can't be around, because he promised her mother that he'd keep her daughter safe, and there's no way to keep your daughter safe when there's a Black Widow after you.
Right.
You know.
Right. The remember even the zip tie, how you mentioned how Yelena hit the zip tie.
She might have
done that to save her, to keep her out of danger.
Every little wasn't detail. A mistake. Wow.
Every little detail. So Clint basically is like, listen, we're not partners. Cut the partner stuff. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
You're gonna die messing with me. It's a wrap. And they pretty much end the episode. And my partner's all right, pretty much saying we're not partners.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then, you know, he's like, go home. It's over. Like, we're not.
It's over.
There's no more of this. You got to go.
That was just done very, very well.
Yeah. I'm going to watch the episode again. In fact, you know what I think I'm going to do before we watch episode 5? I'm going to watch all 4 episodes in its entirety.
It's good to do at this point.
Yeah.
It's good to do at this point. Got 2 weeks left. Leading right into Christmas.
Which you know what wasn't in the evidence locker?
What?
The giant arrow that they got hit with the pin particles.
They're still cleaning that up. They're still closing off the bridge, cleaning that up.
I wonder what happened to the idea of the what is it called? Because that would have been a really good show. Or even if they did it as shorts, Damage Control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if they did it on here, like every time you watch one of these episodes, maybe a 5-minute short of Damage Control coming along to clean up.
Yeah.
Damage Control, if you don't know, in the comic books is the contractors that clean up after superhero events. And
we saw Vulture do that in Spider-Man.
I don't know if he was the contractor. If was he part of Damage Control, or did Damage Control take over after he came?
Right, I think Damage Control was the Stark initiative, whereas he was just a private contractor. I don't think he was particularly damaged. I'm not remember,
but anyway, that was a really cool idea. DC tried to do it once too. They had a show that was supposed to be like a comedy show that was kind of like that, and it didn't work out.
You know what? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to be that. That's how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started. Damage Control after the fight in New York, and then they kind of went off the rails. But yeah, man, episode 4, Hawkeye. I thought it was a good fleshed out episode. We finally got to meet my girl.
Yeah, there was action at the very end. But if you think about it, you need that mid-scene, that dialogue, those things that set things up for what's to come in the last act. So everything was put into place. Bert and Birdie, they're doing a thing.
They are. We didn't get a lot of action during the episode, but the final fight had so much action and then layered story that you guys they raised the bar a bit. Yeah. So we could see how it ends. Just end out real strong. What do you think we're gonna see? Any predictions? Anything you want to throw out?
Man,
is Kingpin coming next episode?
No, Kingpin's not coming at all. I think we're going to see him in the after credit scene of episode 6. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to see. I think that we're going to find out that, like I said, Eleanor is Madame Mask.
Okay, so you think there'll be a reveal for Eleanor?
Yeah, and I think, wow, is it possible that what's his name, Jack, is undercover? Like, he's actually, like, you know, there because he already knows that these people are bad. I don't know, man. I'm excited to see what happens. I don't care which way they go with it because they set it up in a way where I think I'm going to be satisfied no matter how it ends. Yeah. Whether Clint dies or not, whether, you know, he just rides off into the sunset. Right. Whether they even give us more about his wife being Mockingbird.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to get some reveal about Laura. We got to know what happened with that.
And we're probably going to get another piece of whatever Contessa is building. Yeah. You know,
are we going to see Contessa? You think we're going to see Contessa? Yeah. You think it seems like you think we're going to see Contessa before we see Kingpin. Yeah. Yeah. Contessa's definitely a part, you know. I like her. You know, they definitely called her like a Nick Fury kind. They used that term. Mm-hmm. So I hope we do see her.
Listen, man, I've been telling y'all for a while now that Contessa, everybody is thinking of her as Madam Hydra, right? Because in the comic books at one point in time, yes, she was Madam Hydra, but she was also a good guy for a very long time before that. And she, again, the Contessa that we know from the comics had a white streak in her hair. Yeah. This Contessa has a purple streak in her hair, like Val. Right. And Val was the liaison for the New Avengers. She was the person that helped, you know, facilitate everything for them. So I think that this version of Contessa is a mashup of Contessa from the comics and Val. And she is going to be, you know, this person that is bringing things together for a team.
So we're gonna see this team,
and not necessarily you know, a bad team like a Hydra team. I don't think
like a Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I don't think she's Madam Hydra. And if they do go the Madam Hydra route, it's not gonna be for a while. Yeah, you know. We
have U.S. Agent in the wing. You know, I thought that, you know, Yelena Belova will be a part of that, but it looked like Yelena will be a good guy faster than I thought. Absolutely. Which is good because we need some more good guys. Yeah. But man, this is episode 4, y'all.
Yeah, make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell us what you think is happening next. Yes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Yes. Follow me on IG at LR_Blitzkrieg.
Yes. Follow me everywhere at The Marksman.
Yeah. And, you know, check out our merch.
No doubt.
We'll be back next week or maybe sooner. Who knows? Yeah, right. Once again, this has
Spider-Man's coming.
Oof. Oh, yeah, man. We got to do 2 episodes next week.
Hell yeah.
Hey, guys. This has been another episode of
Aiight, so boom.
Peace.